the FNL Network Talkshow.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the FNL Network Talkshow. I am your host, Diana Gebbia. I'm joined by two of the best gal pals you could ever ask for, and some of the greatest hosts I know. We have Holly and we have Kay. How you doing, gals?
I'm good. I'm as good as I'll ever be. Can't complain.
I love that energy. I need some of that energy right now. We were just talking before the show started. It's been a weird week. It's only Monday, mind you, but it's been a weird week so far for Holly and me, but Kay's having a good week. So she could take that good week love and spread it around the room and be much appreciated. Oh man. But yeah, lots going on this week in pop culture too, and just around the world. So I'm going to kick things off with the royal coronation. Huge thing this weekend. I did not get to watch it because my butt was not waking up at 2 a.m. Like, I love a royal, shebang. I love a big to-do, but it's not worth waking up at 2 a.m. Obviously, it was big, the subject of controversy almost, because Prince Harry has had a falling out with his brother Prince William, his father King Charles. Meghan Markle wasn't there. She was back here in California celebrating Archie's birthday. Prince Harry, meaning he was excluded from most of the royal tradition, so he wasn't wearing the coat, the royal coat. He just had a regular suit on. He did have his medals, and he wasn't allowed on the balcony with everyone at the end of the ceremony, where I guess they just waved to people. Must be nice to just do that for a living. And literally right after the ceremony, he got in a limo and then went to his private jet and went, I'm out of here. And if you guys have seen those photos, I've never seen anyone so happy to leave a place in my whole life. So I want to know, do you think the royal family did the right thing by giving him a lesser role? Whose side are you on, maybe? Do you even care about the coronation? Is it a waste of time and money? Kay, I know you got a lot to say on this one, so I'm ready for you.
Believe me, I am Googling Prince Harry pictures because you said.
Yeah, there's literally one, he smirks at the camera and he's just like, I'm leaving. It just looks like he's so happy to get out of there.
I love it. I'm looking right at one. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I hope everybody looks. I wish we had the ability to show everybody. No,
yeah.
It's like, have you guys ever been to a party like that where it's a bunch of drama and mess and you have to make an appearance for whatever reason, work responsibility, family responsibilities, whatever. But then when you've done your part, when you've done your obligation, you just deuces, I don't have to put up with this ridiculousness anymore. I will catch y'all when I'll see y'all when I see y'all, you know what I'm saying? Smell you later, you're out. Just that type of energy. Oh, hilarious. That is so funny, Diane. I love that you put me onto that picture. And if anybody has any guesses, it's not hard to guess with me. I'm totally team Harry and Meghan. I love them completely. I would have been shocked if Meghan would have went. Honey, Meghan has a million other things to do. Goodbye. But I love that Harry supported his dad. I thought that was really, really sweet of him. I didn't feel one way or the other about it. I feel like it is what it is. He wanted to leave. They were not offering him the protection they should have as a family. They weren't standing up for him and his wife and their kid, which they should have been doing a long time ago. I think it was smart not to put him on the balcony because really the Brits do not like him. A lot of them never have. They call him, what do they call him? Not the spare. Oh, they call him the ginger. That's what my friend said before he even married Meghan. She was like, "Oh, so excited to go to London." And she was like, Prince Harry was going into a pub and I was so excited. And she was like, nobody else was excited. There wasn't a line to see him. People were like, oh, they literally said to her, it's just Harry. It's just the ginger. He's really the redheaded stepchild. Nobody cares about him at all. So I just think it's really, from the jump, they've never liked him. So then he went out and married a Black wife and he tried to protect her. No, they are not having that. So I'm sure that he was like, I'm not trying to go on the balcony and wave to a country that, did me dirty. So
yeah.
It's It's so funny. I'm like, come on to Montecito. We love y'all here. Like, make some Netflix shows, write some books, like whoop de whoop. I love them. I could care less about King Charles and his side chick. I mean, I wish them the best, you know.
I love that Netflix special, by the way. Like, someone once said, like, if you're picturing bringing in your ideal partner, like, you should follow couples that really inspire you and you want what they have. And like, I love what Harry and Meghan have. I think they're adorable, and it's clear how much they love each other. And I have watched that Netflix special. Like, when I need to get in those happy feels, I just turn that on because they are just the cutest things ever.
They are so cute. I mean, I guess people love the pomp and circumstance, which is fine. Like, I love some traditional stuff, but I mean, I don't get really crazy. The only time I was excited was at their wedding. Their wedding was dope. I was
Yeah.
excited to watch that. But the coronation, I'm like, I mean, I could take it or leave it. I just wanted to see what kind of hat Katy Perry was wearing, that type of thing. But other than that, I don't really care. I mean, I think so much wealth of England is built off the backs of people of the Commonwealth that, can't even be sovereign nations. And there's just like a whole mess. But like Harry, get on your private jet and fly away. Have fun with that, y'all.
Well said. Well said. How about you, Holly?
Absolutely. Well, your first question was, is it important? Do you think it's important? Yes, it's important. It's a part of our history, I mean, especially with things with England and things, this is a monastery. This is an establishment. This is a union. It's gone back to, oh my gosh, the millennials of years, of course, and it's something to respect. It's a monarchy type of thing, I mean, it's definitely different from the United States. I think you should respect all of them in all rulings of those in power. As far as this situation, this situation is so hairy to me. Pardon the pun. This situation is hairy. Whoop-de-woo. I'm gonna pull a K. Whoop-de-woo. This situation is very hairy. I feel like they have been bullying Harry for the longest time. What are William and Kate doing right now? Does anyone know? I mean, for heaven's sake, they're like the golden people. They're like the golden son and the golden, in-law. They're the golden daughter-in-law and the golden sons and things like that. And because I think, everyone thinks that they're going to take over after Charles dies. I feel like this whole thing, and I'm going to just be completely transparent. I'm not against anyone per se. I respect Camilla. I respect King Charles. I respect everyone in authority there. But I feel like Camilla has just got her hands on this so strongly. And I feel like she is just oppressing Charles. She has been for years. I feel like their little affair was very gray. It was a very gray area. It affected Princess Diana's health to the point of disastrous. I mean, that's the whole reason. I mean, I'm even surprised that that William was even born, because of the things that she does. If anyone has read her biography, she threw herself down the stairs. She went public with that. She had an eating disorder. There's so many things that go back to before them that King Charles he oppressed Princess Diana. He oppressed her so much because he was jealous of her. He oppressed her so much because she was acting out of line. According to him, what she was not acting out of line. She did so many good things for their dynasty, and yet she doesn't get the credit for it. And Camilla's over there, whoop-de-woo, in her little, on her little horse, playing her little game, playing her little, cricket, and having an affair with King Charles, and nobody cares. Like, nobody cared. Like, Camilla there's a situation that was buried, and then he had the nerve to marry her after Diana. It's like, do you have you have zero respect for the woman. You have zero respect. And Diana even came out with stuff like, what King Charles and Camilla exchanged, as far as really, really like secretive, like nasty things that they told each other while they were married. She said, end quote, three people, they asked her why she divorced him, and she said, 3 people can't be in a marriage. It's a bit crowded. So it was one of those things. He abused her to the point of disastrous, and she was just destroyed. I mean, it's a wonder her life was destroyed, because all the rest, her life just was going to come next. The rest was just destroyed by her. I felt so sorry for her in her life whenever I heard about her and all leading up to. So yes. Is it important? It's absolutely important who rules, because that affects everything. That affects our politics and everything. Do I agree with this situation? No. Harry got disowned. I think he's a cool dude. I'm for him. I'm for William. I'm for them all. But I don't think that he should have gotten shoved out. That's like a father taking a son out of their will, or taking their child out of their will. That is just not cool. You step over some boundaries there. Like he's your kid. He's your kid, King Charles. Like, he's your kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that to your kid. Like, whoa, you're going there type of thing. It was completely disrespectful. And the UK, the British media even said they were for Harry, which is huge. They stood for Harry in this. They were like, King Charles has just gone overboard. So that's just my take. I do not agree with this. I think they need to lay off of Harry and Meghan for sure. They deserve their respect.
You also bring up a good point with everything about Princess Diana and, him taking Harry out of the picture. Harry has been in the media since he's little, and he had to go through losing his mom and keeping a straight face at her funeral in front of millions of people. So I think King Charles not having him as part of the coronation was kind of extra salt in the wound, because this kid has been through so much. He doesn't have a mom. And now he's got to watch his whole family, move on without him. I mean, as Kay mentioned before, and we all said he looked very happy to do it, but I'm sure that's not easy. And they put him in the third row next to Prince Andrew, who he's, connected with all Epstein and all that stuff. Like, you're next to like someone who is super disgraced. Like, the math ain't mathin'.
It is not. I was like, okay, I know he's not going to go on the first row. I was like, not even on the second row. But then when I heard he was between like Princess Eugenia and Andrew, I was like, how is Andrew on the third row? Andrew shouldn't even be coming to stuff. Like, Andrew is gross on so many levels. Go ahead. Andrew, girl.
No, I completely agree with you there. I second that. Have you guys ever watched The Prince on HBO Max?
No, do tell.
Oh, okay. It is a Family Guy style cartoon of the royal family. It was started by Gary Janetti, because when Prince George was growing up and they'd like take pictures of him, he'd just have a sassy face. So like Gary would just post, and he still does it. He'd like take the screenshots and give them funny captions. And HBO was like, we need to make this a show. And it was funny, but a lot of people got offended. So it only lasted one season, but it is one of my favorite things. My dad, who hardly finds anything funny, like I showed it to him when I was home for Christmas, and he kept saying, he's like, can we watch The Prince? Can we watch The Prince? Like, it's hysterical. So this is me saying, execs, somebody go pick up The Prince for season 2. It left on a cliffhanger. It's really funny. It's like everything you think about the royal family that's going on behind closed doors. It's in this cartoon. Like they make fun of like Will and Kate, and they say they secretly hate each other. Like, we know that's probably not true, but like a lot of the rumors are out there like that. So it just exaggerates on the rumors, and it's just really funny.
Oh my gosh. So did it start as an Instagram account?
Yeah, so Gary Janetti, he's a writer. He's married to Brad Goreski, the stylist.
Oh yeah.
So Gary, it was just his personal Instagram, and he posts a lot of funny stuff. But for whatever reason, I know what reason, it was hysterical, but it just, these posts of George caught on like wildfire. And this show has some really great talent. What's her name? Sophie Turner played Charlotte. Oh, wow. Gary starred as George. Orlando Bloom is Prince Harry. Like, they make fun of Harry and Meghan moving to California, and it's like Harry doesn't know how to do anything. He goes to the store and he's like, oh my God, like there's milk here. And he's like, I went to a place where you could go and they had milk. Like, it's so funny.
Okay, we gotta watch that. I'm down.
For sure. The Prince on HBO Max. So I tried to catch a rerun of the coronation, but sadly, when I turned on CNN, I was really upset by some other news that unfortunately and understandably though took precedence over the rerun of the coronation, it was the news about the shooting in Allen, Texas. I mean, when is enough enough? I lost count of how many shootings have happened in this year alone, but I don't know why people think it's a good idea to just take other people's lives senselessly. Are you guys more fearful now that this is just sadly becoming almost an everyday thing, knock on wood? Does this change your willingness to go out in public? Are you a little fearful? Are there extra precautions you might take? What do you think, Holly?
I want to know how long. That's a good question. I want to know how long it took for the cops to actually find him, which means these people are going on a rampage. And I don't know where this started. It doesn't matter what state it is. It doesn't matter if it's Texas, California, Oklahoma, Florida. I don't care what state it is. I'm wanting to know why there were correspondence from each individual cop fell through the cracks. Like, how do these criminals go as far as they do, as long as they do, and they're not caught? Like, they don't get caught. Like, that blows my mind. What is falling through the cracks? Is it because, is there miscommunication? Because I looked at the footage of this. This is nuts. This guy, it's the same thing as what is that in Oklahoma or somewhere? There was some other state that there's like a school shooting or something like that, and they could have solved the problem because, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that kid,
Texas,
yeah,
that one. There's been so many, sadly.
There's been so many. But there was also a young guy who brought a weapon to school, had a shooting, and then his mother hit him, and then he went over and he in his house, and he just hid out in his house with his mom under his mom's consent, mind you. And I'm thinking, how do these criminals just stay? Why does no one nip this in the bud? Why was that mother not more hands-on with him? Why didn't she pay attention to his social media accounts? Why didn't she pay attention to his friends, who his friends were? Why, when he was started to get isolated, why didn't she pay attention to that isolation? Why didn't she go, boo boo, you need to go out and get friends, you need to live a normal life? There was like a track record there. So I feel like it's kind of the correlation with this criminal behavior. It's like no one, when his mind went there, no one saw that. And so here was this cop chase from one like city to another. How many cities in Texas did he cross, for this to go down? And why aren't cops, and I have nothing against cops, but at the same time, why aren't these cops more efficient? Why aren't they radioing each other, and what's missing? In other words, their bosses. I know what has to happen. I mean, my father's a cop, for heaven's sake, but there's something that doesn't catch fire. There's some behavior that is not studied here. There's some psychological dealing with this. What I'm trying to say is something is falling in the cracks. And it's not just cop related, but that has a huge dealing with it. It's behaviorism. It's the behavior of this criminal activity, and it's what's in video games. It's being promoted there. It's being promoted in there among social media. Pay attention to their accounts. Pay attention to what they're saying. What if they tweeted that day about a weapon or about a violent activity? Pay attention to that. Because next thing you know, you're going to be alerted and you're going to get that Amber Alert. Sorry, but it's true. So I don't know what happened as far as cops go. I don't know why there's a miscommunication. And it's chief of police in the city and the mayor for that certain city. It's like they're cooling their jets over here instead of responding to the problem.
Yeah, you bring up some really powerful points there. I do believe that mental health is a huge thing when it comes to, everyday life. If you take antidepressants, let's say, it even says on the bottle, you should not operate a car, or you might be impaired when doing this. So it's like, if we have that, but like you can have a gun if you have issues, it's like, why don't we have more background checks, right? Why don't we have more measures in place where we watch out for people? Because you think, like I just said, like the thing with the car, we all take our driver's test to operate a car, which granted, people can kill people with cars, I'm not taking that away, but also like the literal only purpose of a gun is to kill, like whether it's an animal or maybe pop a balloon. Like, I don't understand like what else you could possibly do with it. Whereas the purpose of a car, at least, it's to get you from A to B and get you around. There's an actual purpose, and we need a whole ass license for that. Excuse me. You need a license to get married. You know what I mean? You need a license to operate a boat, but with guns, some states are just more lax than others. And I get how people don't want their guns taken away. And do I believe they should be taken away from true law abiding citizens that didn't do anything? No, but those law abiding citizens should prove their worthiness and their responsibility, take some courses, get background checked, and then get it. And I also don't think people need to be walking around with machine guns. Like, what? Joe down the block should not have a machine gun. Like, what are you going to do with it? It's just ridiculous at this point. I hate when I see people like post, guns don't kill people, people kill people. It's like, no. It's like, by that logic, you're like, toast don't toast toast. Toast, toast, toast. Like with the toast in the toaster. It's like, it's yes, people kill people with the guns, but like I mentioned before, the only purpose that I'm aware of is to kill something, whether it's a person, an animal, etc., or to break something. Like, I just see it as only doing harm, not good, unless you are a responsible person defending yourself from someone else. So I agree with you, Holly. I really am a big advocate for mental health, getting the help you need, and screening those people before they go out and buy things. What about you, Kay?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is, so mental health plays a part in some of these shootings, but not in all of them. Not everyone that shoots someone has a mental health issue, right? I mean, some people honestly are just evil and bad people that want to hurt people. And so I just don't know. Yeah, this is a trash country sometimes. I don't know what else to say with these things. I mean,
I think it's like sadly true at this point.
We're just like holding, people are just holding tight to a law that is so antiquated. It's for militia in case of a war. I just like, it's just ridiculous. But what I do think is interesting is like when you were saying like, are you fearful? And I generally am not, but it is in the back of my mind. Like, I went to the fair this weekend, to the LA County Fair, and before I left, I did think about it. I thought, wow, what if there's like a mass shooting at this fair? And so, I mean, I'm kind of macabre. So I said to my daughter, where would you go if me and Dad died tonight? I go, who would be your favorite auntie? Like, which auntie house would you go and live at?
You traumatized her.
Would you board on campus? She's a day student at work. So would you go on campus, or would you go live with your auntie Shine, auntie Tasha, auntie Lear? Where would you want to go live? You want somebody to come out here with you? Like, she was like, Mom, like, what are you talking about? But she's kind of used to me. I talk about death a lot. Like, death is not a taboo subject in my house. And I was just like, I'm not saying like we're gonna get murdered tonight, but I mean, if we were though, what would be your choices? Like, because we haven't really updated, because you have
prep them, Kay, prep them.
We haven't really updated our wheel since our kids were like 8 and 4 maybe, but now they're teenagers and one's in college. So it really made me think, oh man, I need to update my will and figure out where my kids go if something happens to me and my husband. But anyway, yeah, so I just think that you can't be fearful, but if I'm being honest, it is in the back of my mind. It was in the back of my mind. An interesting debate I saw online concerning this specific, and I think it's happening more and more. Some photos got out on Twitter. Somebody released photos from the Texas mass shooting, and they were talking about a bunch of people were tweeting at Elon Musk, you should take these down immediately. This is wrong. But I've heard that debate maybe in the past. Most recent shooting before Texas, it was a debate going on in the New York Times kind of comment section. Should we be showing these awful images, especially of kids? They're talking about, maybe releasing the photos from Uvalde, the crime scene photos. If they saw the crime scene photos, would that make a difference? Because you would think children being murdered would make a difference, and people would be trying to act and, legislate new laws on guns, but that's not working. And so other people were like, maybe they just need to see pictures. And so I know everybody wouldn't be okay with it, but I know some people would be okay with showing their child's picture if they thought it would make a difference. And so I just wonder for you, Diana, do you think that, what kind of effect do you think that would have? Do you think that would have an effect at all to people? Would people be shocked into, doing something then?
For some people, maybe, but I don't want to get too far into this, but there are just sadly some other people who just deny that this stuff is real. And I feel like they would just take that attitude towards the pictures, and it's just disgusting. And then that adds further insult to injury.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. It's just a shame. I also, like you said, it's in the back of my mind too. Last year on the 4th of July of all days, there was a bombing somewhere, I think. And I was going downtown with my friends and all their kids for the day in the park. Like they were having a little 4th of July celebration. And my mom was like, be careful. Like she was afraid. They had security checking all our bags as we're going into a public park. My friend was just in town. She used to live out here and she went back to her old church downtown. She said they had metal detectors before you go to church. Wow. Before you go to a place of worship, you have to go through a metal detector, which part of me, I'm like, I'm glad that you're taking these precautions and they're taking it seriously, but also how sad this is what we've come to. Mm-hmm. It's really, really sad. So
I say we test that though, I say we test that. I say we just test that, like anywhere. I say we just, whatever. And whatever happens, you have to take the necessary precaution. But like, you're right. Like in a place of worship or in church, like go for it. Like this is what it's all about. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people do test it. So it's just like, come on up in here. Don't bring no metal detectors. Let's just see what happens. Let's test it. That's just my take.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, as annoying as security is and as sad as it is that we live in a world where it's heightened, like if it's going to protect us, you know what? Like, let's just go for it. But then it brings up a whole other thing. Who's going to pay for it? It's just, I feel like there's a negative answer to everything. Oh man, I feel like if people really just want to take the other side of it, like they're just going to find a way. So hopefully we can get back on a positive foot. And I really hope that like, this is the last, like enough is enough. Wake up. Let's protect our country. Other countries do not have this problem. Maybe we could take notes from them.
I mean, but that is a fundamental constitutional issue for people that are like obsessed and like worship the Second Amendment, right? It's just like, no other country has that written into their constitution, the right to bear arms, even though it's antiquated and it's not used for the purpose that people use it for now. I just think it's so crazy when people kind of view it as a zero-sum game. They don't want to do any kind of modifications to it. They don't want to do background checks. They don't want to do a waiting period. They don't want to do, like you said, you understand you having a gun, but they want a machine gun. They want any type of gun they want. It's just like, you cannot be that insane about it. You have got to come to the middle at some point. It's yeah.
No, great thought there, especially even, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, that has restrictions.
Yes.
You can't cause a riot in a crowded building. So no, that's a really great point. Great idea, guys. I think we should go to something a little more uplifting now. Because I don't know about you, I'm feeling heated after that, but great conversation. I want to talk about the Met Gala. That was last week. I enjoyed the Met Gala. I know we talked about the pomp and circumstance of it all with the coronation, but I enjoyed this kind of pomp and circumstance because it's just a little bit ridiculous. We had Jared Leto in a cat suit looking like he walked out of a Chuck E. Cheese, walking on the red carpet.
Chuck E. Cheese! I'm done.
Oh my God. But you know what? I love that this is the place where celebrities can be ridiculous and we really get to see who has fun with it. Like Jared Leto, I make fun, but you could tell he really has fun with it. And who might take it a little too seriously, like the Kardashians. Oh my God, last year when Kim wore Marilyn Monroe's dress, I was just appalled. I know that was a big thing, but I was just so annoyed that she did. Like, who do you think you are? That's another topic for another day. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this. So I want to know, who had your favorite looks? Are you a fan? Did you watch? Could you care less? Let me know what you think, Kay.
Well, I definitely watched. I was impressed with the men. I'm always excited to see men do the most because on your typical red carpet, men don't do anything. You know, they throw on a Valentino tux and it's a wrap. You know what I mean? It's like maybe you get some Timothy Chalamet and it's like, halter, hoist, with everything. But like usually you don't get a lot. But with the Met Gala, bro, apparently, like you said, Diana, you get a Chuck E. Cheese outfit if you Jared Leto. Jared Leto always comes with it, don't he? I love to see where Gerald. Remember when he had a paper mache head on his head? Girl, I was like, what is Jared gonna do this time? He is so crazy. I love it. So when he took his costume off, his outfit was cute. Loved his outfit. I love red carpets, and because of the creativeness and how you can put your spin on whatever the theme is one of the reasons why I love the Met Gala. So when I heard the theme, I was like, Carl Lagerfeld, like fingerless gloves, white ponytail. Like, how is this a theme, honey? But it was like, oh no, Chanel, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And so, I mean, there was a lot of black and white, right? There was a tweed, a lot of rosettes, a lot of fingerless gloves. It wasn't the most inspiring Met. I would say Heavenly Bodies has been my favorite Met of recent, right? I mean, people were coming with it. It was just like, yes, yes, yes. So it's all in the theme. I think Anna Wintour just wanted to, she loved Karl Lagerfeld and she just wanted to, do something for her boo, even though he had passed away. RIP, I guess, whatever. But it didn't bring out the most creative outfits. Olivia Wilde's violin dress was one of my favorites. I loved it.
Yeah, very classy.
I thought Anne Hathaway did the thing. I was like, look at Anne Hathaway, the Chanel tweed, and then it was deconstructed with the pins up the side. I was like, listen.
Hair was my favorite part of that whole outfit.
Her,
like I love a Bridget Bardot bump.
Mm-hmm.
I have like, they call them hair rats, where you stick them in hair. And I have them. I'm always trying to recreate that look. I can't make it look as effortless. You can always tell something's in my head. Like she did it.
She did it. I remember they used to sell those at night on TV. It was called Bump It. You get a bump it.
Yeah. I have ones that are Velcro now. Those are fun.
She looked great. I was like, first of all, let me just give Anne Hathaway her props, because there was some Anne Hathaway hate in the past decade or so. Remember, people just did not like her for whatever reason. But I was like, Anne Hathaway came with it. She's aging beautifully. She just looked great. I love the whole thing. I love the whole thing. It was fabulous. Gisele Bundchen was out in these streets with the feather cape, twirling and whirling. And I was like, because what do I know about football? I was like, is her husband? I was to my husband, like, is her husband that football guy? Like, to me, he's Gisele Bundchen's husband, whatever.
Yeah. Divorced.
She was like, yes, that's her. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, she divorced and she out here twirling. You better get it, sis. Like, good on you. Yeah. There were a lot of good men too. I really liked Dwayne Wade. I thought looked great. Trevor Noah, I thought looked great, down to his shoes. I had to scroll his whole outfit. I was like, honey, the boots with the tip on the girl, everything. And his hair with his cornrows. I was like, yes. Anyway, it was not my favorite gala, but it still gave, it gave enough where it sustained me until at least the Emmys. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I would say
I did too. I have to say my favorite, and you guys know I'm a Billie Eilish fan. Like, I feel like she's my little sister. It was Billie's look. She had this like gothic almost lingerie, but still really classy because she wasn't showing too much. Mm-hmm. And she had this beautiful long braid, which we rarely see her with long hair. She knocked it out of the park.
I didn't even know it was her at first, Diana.
Yes.
I had to scroll and be like, wait, and scroll back up and be like, scroll back down. She does. I feel like every time she comes out, last year, the same thing. I didn't even recognize her. Like,
yeah, she had that corset last year. She is growing up, because I've been a fan of her since she was 16. And like I said, I feel like she's my little sister. And every year when she comes out at the Met Gala, like I get tears and I text my mom. I'm like, look, she's all grown up. I said to my mom, I'm like, she lost her baby face. She lost her baby face. A few years ago, she had my favorite look of all time when she was one of the, I guess the host, or she was on the board or whatever it was. I forgot what the theme was, but she came out in that long, like Cinderella ball gown, and she had the short blonde hair. And literally, I saw that and I went, ooh, like I was just overcome with emotion. Like she killed it. I think she's so stylish, and it's such a nice contrast to what we saw of her growing up, because she always put herself in the baggier clothes because she didn't want people objectifying her body. Like, we love a talented girl with a great message, like great role model for young girls out there. It's one of the reasons why I love her. But now we get to see her in this glamorous look. And then for the after party, she was back in her heavy clothes. Like, she does it all. She does it all. And like, I will be a Billy stan for life. Like, honestly. Another one of my favorites was Amanda Seyfried. She had, it was very like almost high fashion, like grunge. I that's a weird way of putting it, but she had the very curly hair where it's almost frizzy, like where you're getting to that borderline point, but it still looks good. Like they brushed out the curls a lot. And she had a mini dress on, some dark eyeliner. Like I love that. I would wear that outfit to Ralph's if I could. Florence Pugh can do no wrong in my book. She's like another Billie Eilish figure to me. Great role model for women. She shocked us all with the shaved head. And her hairpiece around the new haircut. I think she killed it. So we love Flo, we love Billy, we love Amanda. What about you, Holly?
It's funny that you mentioned the Cinderella type character in the ball gown. I feel like Nicole Kidman resembled that just a little bit. Have you seen Nicole Kidman? Did you see it? So very like, it's predictable, but it's classy, it's timeless, which is Nicole Kidman. Totally fulfilled her role. I will always be a fan of Nicole Kidman. She's like a walking Barbie doll to me. You know, yeah, she's like, I can't be her, so I can at least admire her. Oh my God, like, yeah, you deserve it all. She's like, you know, so yeah, I was very emotional, probably more emotional than I should have been. Like, cool down. You're not her biggest fan.
I'm glad someone else gets it. I'm glad someone else gets it. That's all I have to say.
Like with the veil, it looked like she was arriving to get married. I was so touched. It was so sweet. And then I go from her and I transition into Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell with her red dramatic dress. And I felt so sorry for her because she looked so beautiful, yet it looked so hot. Like, Can you imagine? It looked like he was in like this big blanket, like huge blanket. And I'm like, how am I not seeing sweat through your perfect like makeup? Somebody did like a perfect job on her makeup. She probably sweated and all, but she did it. She was flawless.
Do we think Naomi Campbell sweats?
Yeah.
No, forget it.
And hold on though, don't laugh yet. Kanye in a kilt.
Oh,
Kanye West in a kilt, showed up in a Scottish kilt. That's different. I'm digging it. I'm kind of digging it. Yes, right?
Are you sure not A$AP Rocky with Rihanna? A$AP Rocky had on a kilt over some like jeans.
Oh, maybe that was him then. Yeah, that was him. I'm sorry. I saw Kanye. Maybe Kanye tried to do it. I'll do it. I don't know. But I'm telling you, Nicole Kidman was flawless. Like the whole thing. Who was that other? I agree with you guys on Anne Hathaway. She was different. That was a different look. That was a very different look. And I don't know who forms her dress, but they fit it well. Like they fit her figure very well. You know, that color against her pale skin. So heavenly. So that's just kind of my opinion. Diana has diagnosed it a lot. So I feel like it kind of reeled it back in with the whole fashion thing, but that's okay. No, I thought everybody was awesome. I thought everybody's look. Who was the one that wore the silver? Who wore the all silver was crazy. Was it a Kardashian? No, it was not a Kardashian. Who was it? Oh shoot.
Nas X?
Yes.
The rhinestone?
Yes.
On his
Yes.
face. Ooh, I did
Yeah,
not.
look.
I'm not good with texture, so I was like, oh, that made my skin crawl because it was like a bunch of like pearls and like stuff on his lips. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what that's called that I have, but
You didn't like his
texture.
You didn't like the giant disco ball? I feel like it's like a giant disco ball. It was awesome. I wanted to dance I wanted to kind of pretend I was there to dance around him, like, you know.
He's another one
it's
like
all
Jared
good.
Leto who always has fun with his outfits. Like he is another one. Post Malone has never been to a Met Gala, but when you see him in an award show, he's another one that has fun. He's always got like a matching, just a really unique suit and like cowboy hat ensemble. Would love to see him at a Met Gala at some point because I feel like he would take it and run with it. Do you guys know, just for fun, I didn't ask this, but like I know what mine would be because someone asked me, like, do you know if you were asked to come up with a theme, what it would be?
Ooh.
Mine would be Bikini Bottom from SpongeBob SquarePants. Someone could be like Squidward in the big blue gown, and like then you have like a bunch of stars for Patrick and pineapples. Like I just think it would be great.
Hilarious. That is hilarious.
A theme.
I would want like a spring, some kind of spring theme, so you could see a lot of real flowers and a lot of greenery, and people could bring like you know, just like real elements into it.
You could wear, if you've ever seen Midsummer with Florence Pugh, she had that big May Queen dress.
You know, if you go to the Academy Museum in California, they have, I wonder if they still have it in Los Angeles.
They do. But here's, I mean, tangential like to the extreme, but I'm so passionate about that. They have that in their museum, but they did not nominate her for an Oscar. They did not nominate that movie, and her performance she killed it. So that's just my.
Did they nominate the costume designer though for the dress? Did the costume?
I don't think so. I don't think it was nominated at all. And that thing weighed like 100 pounds.
That thing's amazing to see.
They hid a chair under there so she could sit during her break. Sorry, I would love to see that on the Met Gala carpet.
Yeah. Okay, how about the golden age? Golden age.
Ooh, that's fun.
Women fully clothed, not in meat. I'm totally not against the shock factor, but how about we just reel back to when Hollywood was like, you know, like the whole, like Titanic, like let's just go with that whole 1930s golden age. I'm covering it all up because that's not out of style at all. It's always good to kind of go back and cover it up. But I'm going to go totally boring on that and just go like 1930s straight up.
But you know what, Kardashian's gonna go and like run with that and then mess it up in some way.
Wait, did you say the Kardashians or did you say fashion?
No, I said a Kardashian, like any one of them. I do love an old Hollywood moment too. Oh my God, we should be.
She tried to do an old Hollywood moment. She tried to do it in Marilyn Monroe's dress, Diana, but you didn't like that, so she can't please you. So.
I did not because listen, if she were a replica, fine, but you're gonna take like a thing out of a museum. What if I was just like, I'm gonna walk with the Mona Lisa up the stairs of the Met Gala?
Diana,
like,
it's Kim Kardashian. She had to have the real thing. When you think Kim Kardashian, you don't think fake, do you? Oh wait.
Yeah, a little bit.
but mad props. She treated it like a role to get into that thing. Mad props. I want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Commit. You know?
Yeah, you know what? The commitment, yeah, she commits better than most guys on dating apps do, so I'll give her that one. Another major event this weekend, the Kentucky Derby. I've been to Churchill Downs. I was in Kentucky for work and I stopped and did the tour. Beautiful place, but I had no idea that the horses are so mistreated. I wish Marianne were here because I know she would have so much to say on this topic. She is a horse girl through and through. Yeah. I didn't realize until someone posted about it in a group this weekend. These horses are allegedly like drugged to do better. If they're past their prime, they're killed. They're bred. Like there's just horses that are just meant to breed and then horses that are meant to feed. And it's just really, really sad, the life of a racehorse. So did you guys know this? Am I the only one who's like new to this info? And does this change your perspective on the event? For me, I feel like I'll never look at it the same ever again. Like, I don't know. Like I can't wear a big hat and piece and drink a bourbon when now I know that these horses are being mistreated. I don't know. It just feels wrong to me. What do you think, Holly?
Honestly, I'm going to say do not mistreat an animal. I totally agree with the situation. Do not mistreat an animal, but honestly, you're not going to stop it. It's a horse race, for heaven's sake. I mean, you, like you said, you go there, you go there for business deals, to rub elbows, and to drink and to have a cigar and to drink your drink and stuff like that. And, whatever. I mean, it's been tradition for forever. I mean, you think about not just the Derby. What is that Miami event? Miami takes place every single year. What is it called? Where people get like hot under humidity, fan themselves, and stand in the decks. What is that? What is that? It's like a Derby. It's like this big, huge race theme, even for horses. It just happened actually. It just happened in January. Yeah, like
is one
of those derbies. Yeah. So I mean, these things have been happening since the dawn, and I just hope they treat their animals well. You have to treat your animals well. I mean, but at the same time, how far can an animal go? How much can you push them? So it's one of those things. Just make sure they're taken care of. But at the same time, they look like they like to outdo. Like, have you ever seen the movie Secretariat? These animals look like they enjoy going into that hyper mode and oh my gosh, so and so is and then all of a sudden you go beyond the race. I mean, these are sea biscuits. Like, they're just like, go for it, But yeah, they're still an animal. At the end of the day, they like just pamper them. At the end of the day, just like paint their little fingernails and just file their little hooves and get the dirt out of them. Just continue to coo over them, brush their little hair and stuff like that, and just put a blanket over them. Make sure they're not too cold. I mean, like, treat it like you would like your wife at home, who just is like a little bit needy. You know what I'm saying? So just treat them good.
I'm glad you said Seabiscuit, because you said Secretariat, and I was like, what's the other horse's name? What's the other horse's name? And I swear to God, I was in my head, I was like, Limp Biscuit. I'm like, that's not it. That's wrong. That's a band. That's some new metal. Oh my God. My memory is just not it. Kay, what about you?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I remember trying to read Seabiscuit, y'all, for book club. When I tell you, I was like, this ain't it. I ain't gonna be able to do it. I went to book club. My friend was like, but here's the thing. It starts getting really good in chapter 5. I was like, boo, if I gotta wait till chapter 5 for it to get good, it's not a good book. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I gave it 2 chapters and I had to roll. I'm never really, have never really been interested in horse racing much at all. I mean, I feel like the most interesting fact that I found as of late was that all jockeys used to be Black back in the day. Like, yeah, the early 1900s, most of the jockeys that won in like there was like a 10-year span, and like 7 of the jockeys that won in a 10-year span were Black. They were how some of the first Black people made a lot of money. But then, of course, good old-fashioned racism.
Yeah.
So it was some crazy stories about how white jockeys would push the Black jockeys off the field. They would run them off the field with their horses and injure their horses and kill their horses and break parts of the running racetrack. And so for that reason, a bunch of the white, and not because of the audiences, like the white audiences didn't care about seeing a Black jockey. They were just excited to see somebody who could ride well. But the other jockeys were jealous because they wanted the money and they were racist. And so there was an unofficial ban on Black jockeys in the early 1900s. You didn't have a Black jockey ride a horse from 1921 until the year 2000. So for that reason, I'm out. When I saw to 2000, I was like, huh? And then they sing some problematic Uncle Tom's Cabin throwback song at every race. I was just like, girl, it's too many layers to this for me. When I started to read up on it, I was like, I'm out. Yeah. I mean, I know now. I went over this weekend just to look at hats. The New York Times had an article, who had the best hats, the Coronation or the yeah, right. It's a cute article. And so I was like, oh, let me see this. So I was surprised at how many Black celebrities come out for the Kentucky Derby, which I thought was interesting. But because of that history, I'm just very uninterested in the whole horse racing situation. And I mean, I think it is sad what happens to the animals, but I'm not a PETA animal person. Not that I don't care about animals, but I really don't care about animals. So I mean, as in the words of Holly, in the words of me, whoopie whoop. I mean, Peter's on it. I can't do nothing that Peter can. Listen, Peter's on it, right? Peter was like 7 or 8 horses died at the track. And apparently they like juice these horses up. They run them hard and then they sustain a lot of injuries. And a lot of them can only run a couple races because of that. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's sad, but you know, what can I do? Peter is going to do it all. They on the case.
They're on it.
They're
it's
on
like
it.
Ghostbusters, but PETA. Who are you gonna call? PETA. Did you see? Because now that you mentioned it, first when you brought up the black jockeys, I didn't think of this, but then a light bulb flicked. Did you see Jordan Peele's movie Nope?
I did see Nope.
Yeah. So now I made that
first
connection.
Moving picture was a black jockey. Yeah, it was a black man on a horse. Yep.
Yeah, and that was like the first movie. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then now they made that like a focal point of the film and how they handled the horses and they tied the horses into the film. Like, I'm glad you brought that up because now I'm like, oh, light bulb moment.
Yeah, and at first I was like, is that just part of the film? But I had always known that black jockeys were popular back in the day, and I didn't know exactly the reason why, like, you know, what had went down. So I did some research on that. But I just thought that was so interesting, how he wrapped it up in the film. And then you find that that's the first moving picture, right, ever created. But then the first movie created was like Ku Klux Klan propaganda. It's so interesting because it's that opposite spectrum. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I feel like we need our own version of The More You Know, because that's like probably copyrighted. So it'll be like,
I love that. I used to love The More You Know.
Educational moment.
Like shooting star. Used to make me feel so smart.
Well, we can't use a star. Maybe we'll just have like a bunch of hearts pop up or something. I don't know. We'll work on it.
Yeah, we gotta talk to Steve. Steve, can you give us that?
Yeah, we'll work on that. Oh my God, you guys are so much fun. I love you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the FNL Network Talk Show. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Kay, for joining me. Lots of laughs, lots of new information here. We're going to get to work on that increased educational moment or whatever we want to call it. In the meantime, we will talk to you next week. You enjoy your week. Bye.